Hello, Robert. He's one of my clients. Thank you for joining. Good amount of people, Christie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I think it looks good. Maybe we wait one more minute and then we can, yeah, well, we can start. So yeah, I think everyone joined so far. Yeah, who should join, who approved it. I think we can start.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks everybody for joining. I'm Christie Rugh with SkyPostal. And this is Demet Kale with VATAi. And so we want to explore how U.S. sellers can expand into Latin America. I think Zach raised a hand.
That was excellent.
No, sorry. Trying to give a thumbs up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Keep going.
All right.
excellent.
Thank you.
So Demet, let's start from your vantage point at VATAi. What are some of the first tax or compliance issues that U.S. sellers should consider when looking at Mexico?
I mean, when we I think I have to just start from that point because that's the most recent questions I get from sellers. Also, people who sell into other countries is, yeah, I'm comfortable. I can just sell from here. It's very convenient and I make a lot of money. Why would I expand or localize there or have a storage there or whatever? There are a lot of benefits which you can consider by time, but I think the most considerable point is you have advantages on a tax point of view. Okay, VAT. So when you get an RFC registration in Mexico, you cut off 20% of income tax you have to pay as a seller if you sell from the US. So plus on top, you have the 16% RFC you pay on each sale. So it's like 36%, which is a huge amount of money. So I think for sellers who are selling from the US and they sell well with a good amount, then they should definitely consider expanding. This is just the short story from the long story, but we will get into detail why they should consider. And I mean, when we look at the point of the importation and the tax of each importation, it's also different than other countries. Usually when you expand into Europe, let's say Germany or any other country, it's just like the sales tax, it's 19% in Germany, right? But when it comes to Mexico, the rate changes when the volume is increasing. Okay, if you have the really little items you're importing into or you're selling into Mexico, it starts at 17%, which is like starting at a threshold of $50 till like 117, and then when you're above of 1,000, it just increased to 20%. So for small sellers, I get the point. Starting off and exploring the country is a good thing from your comfort of your own company in the US or any other country. But when it gets more and more, which will be because the market is growing, we're going to get into that as well. But I think now, in terms of logistic, is you can tell more about the import fees, etc., which is out of our scope. But you can give maybe some examples about smaller sellers and bigger sellers in that point. Sorry, my throat.
No problem. No, so that's a great point on sort of the taxes and everything within Mexico. And I do believe now that even Walmart Mexico is requiring that they have a tax ID. So a lot of the marketplaces are requiring, if you want to get on, to have a tax ID. And, that's sort of where you're going to get, a lot of customer visits and views and good traffic from some of these sites like Walmart Mexico, Amazon Mexico. But as far as like taxes and duties are concerned, the duties differ sort of by what you're selling a little bit and everything, and definitely by the courier a little bit and how we handle stuff. Generally, it's about 19 to 20%, and taxes aren't generally applicable if depending on up to $1,000. Anything under $50 is exempt, though there is a de minimis for U.S. goods, except for right now for us for health and beauty, which are regulated items. A lot of logistics companies cannot ship regulated items. SkyPostal can ship regulated items. It's actually one of our biggest categories into Mexico, actually, and Brazil. But they are taxed on everything right now. I think it's just one of those LATAM things. They kind of do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, that's very Mediterranean mindset. Yeah, they just, let's do this today and let's see tomorrow. Yeah, it's a little bit uncertain. But yeah, as I said, like there are a lot of fees. Is there an example you can give, like versus a small seller versus a bigger seller when it comes to let's say they have an RFC and they're storing their goods on Amazon or Walmart or whatever or any other storage. So what would be the advantage in terms of having the storage for smaller or bigger sellers? Just the point of logistics.
So I have to assume, so we're just getting into the B2B, into formal clearance into Mexico. So it's something that we've just started doing. So we can ship to Fulfill by Amazon in Mexico and Walmart fulfillment centers in Mexico. I believe that the storage is much cheaper in Mexico than it is in the US. Taxes differ. I don't have that information of what the taxes differ because we're just getting into it, and it sort of depends on a lot of things within the shipment. And it is a totally different clearance. It's a formal clearance versus B2C, single customer orders, which is what we typically work through to all of Latin America. But it's definitely something that we're seeing more and more of, that people are definitely wanting to expand. And I think it's because of its proximity to Mexico, from the US to Mexico. We border it on so many states. So it's just so very easy to ship to and move truckloads of inventory and not have to worry about, if they work or if they don't work. It's easy to move them back and forth. Versus if you're sending stuff to Brazil, you can't send stuff via truck to Brazil. It's got to go via air. So, you're looking at a lot different of a shipment and cost versus, sending a truck to Mexico.
Yeah, that's true. So I think for sellers who are thinking of expanding or establishing an RFC and storing in Mexico, if you have any thoughts of that. I think the best step for now would be just check out your storage costs at the moment. You're paying, fulfilling from the US, and then versus asking Amazon if you're selling on Amazon, or if you sell on Walmart, for the storage costs over there. And then just, do your calculation based on what you're selling actually and what the turnover is. And I think there's definitely a big advantage of storing in that country. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Crystal asked about the PRC, or Remessa Conforme program. So it's also known as the PRC program on Amazon. So that is a government program that the checkout and the logistics player have to, or the checkout provider, so on Amazon, in case it's Amazon, has to be part of the government's program. So they have a program that they have to fill out the paperwork, and then the logistics provider has to be on their contract. You don't have to be a seller, though. A seller could be checking out on their own store, and they can have the PRC program, and we can put them in contact with somebody. I've actually had quite a few sellers go through this PRC program to get set up to be part of that. And what it allows is faster customs clearance. So versus getting cleared in 2 to 4 days, you're usually cleared in 1 day, maybe 2 days at the longest. And then there's a break for customers on duties. So up to $50, it's 20% duties. Normally in Brazil, up to $50, it's 60% duty, or it's 60% duties always. So it's a very big, and then anything that's over $50 in Brazil gets a $20 break. So you take the 60% duties and then just subtract $20. So it's a huge difference for customers. Amazon's part of the PRC program. So if you're selling on Amazon Brazil specifically, you're automatically part of that program, and we fulfill all of FBA orders for Amazon Brazil, 100% of their orders for Amazon Brazil. And then, like I said, if somebody's interested in getting to be part of that program, we have a contact that we can put them in touch with. It does take 60 to 90 days. Nobody in Latin America moves fast.
I know. Yeah. Since you're pointing that out, yes, it takes time. So when it comes to, why not? Because there is no income tax I have to pay, and it's 20%, and you have a high volume, and you would like to have 20% more money in your pocket, then definitely you have to get registered for RFC in Mexico. Okay. And time frame, as you said, you're just mentioning 90 days just for something really basic, which I, for this program. But for RFC, it can minimum, we're talking about 6 months. When, we had customers, they got it in 6 months. We had customers, they got it in 8 months, and some of them in 1 year. It depends on, it's unpredictable. Okay. The work, if they work fast, they fast, or if they're slow, they're slow. But the advantages of having an RFC in that country makes a lot of difference for the seller to sell more, to get more money, and also I think logistic costs lower too, because the amount is going to be more. They ship into the FBA storages. So definitely, that's a good thing to consider. Mexico RFC, yes. So exactly. So we said that 20% income tax plus 16%. It's what you're paying at the moment when you're selling from the US or anywhere else, and storing in Mexico using Amazon FBA. It's big advantage. RFC numbers are quite, if seller are considering importer of good into Mexico. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Christie, about importer of goods? So is it easier for you guys if the seller is the importer of goods, or what would you recommend sellers to do in this scenario?
So we are, if we're shipping B2C orders, so drop ship orders, we are the importer of goods. So always. So, but if you are shipping formal clearance, the seller has to be the importer of goods. We cannot be the importer of goods. They have to be the importer of goods. I don't even think like Walmart or Amazon can be the importer of goods from them. From what we've researched and had conversations with Walmart, it has to be the seller.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Can you help with the custom clearance also in that case for the sellers? If they have an RFC, they import the goods, so they're going to be good to go with you.
All of our shipping includes customs clearance. So our shipping for B2C includes receipt to our Miami warehouse. For B2C products, air freight to Mexico, we airship everything. Customs clearance and last mile delivery. For formal clearance, it would include customs clearance and delivery to wherever. I think there's a radius, so but we have a sheet on it. But basically, we do all the customs clearance in both scenarios, and we have no issues clearing books in Mexico. It's actually one of the top sellers in Mexico for me. Beauty and books.
Beauty and books. Okay.
Beauty items, books, and electronics are the top sellers.
Yeah, sells everywhere. Good. Yeah, beauty is a big thing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's good to know, because that's also a very common question, not only for Mexico, it's all over in any country. Oh, do you know custom clearance? Okay, people or sellers, they don't know that usually good established companies like you, logistic companies, can do the custom clearance as well. So that's also a very common question we get from our sellers. It's good to know on how to proceed with that. So those are like when you see the prices, they are very expensive. I mean, getting an RFC in Mexico and then maintaining the filings, it's approximately the same amount for the next year as well. So it's a big investment towards a compliance, but it's a good investment if you are high selling. Okay, and it's totally worth it, because with the 20% you can you save at the point of sale. You will just get the money somehow back. So it's balancing it out. Yeah, definitely. So
and Mexico is the number 2 country within Latin America. So there's some different statistics sort of on how much e-commerce does in Mexico, but on a US dollar standpoint, Statista reported that they're doing 35 billion this year, whereas Mordor Intelligence reported that they're going to do over 52 billion this year. And by 2030, they'll do somewhere between, it's a big difference, 47 billion according to Statista, and to over 120 billion according to Mordor Intelligence. So the market is growing rapidly. It's definitely a time for US sellers to get in it. And there's a low rate right now of US sellers in it. From last I heard, it was less than 5% of US sellers are actually selling into Mexico, at least on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, it's always when so it's kind of a new market still. Okay, there's so much to explore, and if you are one of the first ones who establish or have an RFC and store in that country, I think it's beneficial, because you're the first ones, or the first ones who are just acting that way. And the more people will realize that, the more competition is going to grow. And when you're the first one, or within the first sellers, growing there, it's going to be very beneficial to establish your brand and be known in the market.
And especially if you're on a marketplace, you establish your storefront early on while the penetration is low.
Exactly. So yeah, that's I always come back to the same thing. It's US to motivate the US sellers to expand into another country is really difficult, because they do a lot of good sales. US is the best market in the world, but if you consider that so many other sellers are selling into US, and then they're figuring out Latin America as well. So the competition is growing from Asia towards here.
Yep.
So all the manufacturers who, who just produce it, they sell directly and they have a better price. So every seller has to just sit in and say, how can I be more sustainable? How can I sell more in the future, right? And this is your time to consider selling in other countries, which is nearest, it's Mexico. And I think the operation with SkyPostal is going to make it easier for you. And when we get you registered, so you're good to go.
You're good to go. And there's no
Yeah.
fees. There's no monthly fees or anything. You're only getting charged with SkyPostal when you actually ship with us. So, it's relatively inexpensive, from the logistics side standpoint to get going in Latin America.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then, it's not only Amazon, it's Walmart, and then you have Mercado Libre in Mexico. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. So when you start with one marketplace and you go good, you're just going to expand into the others as well. And the good thing is, like, when you're Amazon sellers, I'm not aware of Walmart so much, but I'm sure they can provide the statistics as well. Asking before even expanding on how is my product going to do there, or how is it doing at the moment. So check out the performance of your product category. Ask Amazon, because they can provide you this data and they can tell you, oh, this is in Mexico and this is in Brazil, what you can do. And you can decide based on this data and have a better standpoint.
I always remind sellers too that it is similar to the US, though. You can't just put your items on these marketplaces and expect them to sell. You still actually have to work the account with sponsored and paid ads and stuff and make sure you're getting them in front of the audiences. But to do that in Latin America is a lot less expensive than it is in the United States. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot less competition, even locally within those countries in Latin America. There's a lot less competition, which makes it a lot more affordable to do the advertising within those, within Amazon Brazil and Walmart Mexico.
Yeah, that makes totally sense. So, I mean, it's not a very complicated market. I can tell because we work with European markets as well, UK, Australia, Canada, a whole globe. And I can tell that Mexico is a really easy market to expand for US sellers. Of course, you have waiting times, but at the end, I think it's going to be very rewarding at the end of the day. And the regulations is not so complicated as in Europe, for example. You have to comply with your product. You have to have authorized representation and all these things, not only getting a VAT registered, you have so much more to register. But in Mexico, it's just straightforward. You have just the RFC and can benefit huge from it.
You don't even have to change your labels in any of Latin America. They can be in English. In Europe, you have to change your labels and everything like that. In Latin America, they don't care if they're in English. It's fine. As long
That's
as
a good point. I didn't know that. I thought it should be in Spanish.
Nope.
Wow, that's a good point. Yeah.
Brazil still can be in English, doesn't need to be in Spanish or Portuguese, so it's all fine. So nobody has to change labels or anything. So it makes it so much simpler to sell into all of Latin America versus Europe. And, with Mexico being the starters, obviously, because it's the closest.
That's true. No, that's wonderful. I think there is a big opportunity. And I think, I mean, this is all from my side, like the basics. But I think we can go for questions if any questions are, if you have any. Let me see. There.
I think Bella had a question for Christie. What are all Latin American countries?
Oh, that we ship to? Yeah. So we ship to Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, El Salvador, Mexico, Peru, and Uruguay. We can ship to anywhere if there's enough volume. But those are our main 10 countries that we ship to right now.
Let's see, anything else?
And then I also
I
had a
think we
question.
were clear enough. Oh, sorry, Krista.
Oh, I guess my last one. What differs SkyPostal from your other competitors?
SkyPostal has our own private courier network that we've developed over the last 50 years. And in many of the countries, we do our own customs clearance. That's what makes us stand out. And that's why even logistics companies like Ascendia, Landmark Global, Glogistics, AIT Worldwide, and so many more use our logistics services for their customers shipping to Latin America. Our prices are much better than a FedEx, DHL, or UPS, and we're certainly far more reliable than USPS. And that's why we have such the volume, and we're sort of the standout player, that we sort of made ourselves unique over the last 50 years into LATAM.
Yeah, that's and before I forget, and when I'm a customer and I work with you, do I have like a one-on-one person, an account manager who's going to help my account and help me guide me through the processes?
Absolutely. So we have an onboarding manager that once you get set up, one of our onboarding managers will reach out to you. They're always available. Their calendar's always on their email sign out. So you can always have access to set up a call with them, or just send them an email if you don't want to set up an actual call. And they will be more than happy to walk you through whatever process you're using. If you're using ShipStation, EasyShip, Shopify, or directly through our API or our website. You can just upload things, download CSV files and upload CSV files on our website.
Oh, that's great. It's very similar to us. We have the same system. We have the API connection with Amazon, with Shopify, and there's more to come. The more the demand is growing, the more API connections we're going to have. It's also very, account manager, one person who's taking care of your account is really important. So you have one point of contact and can ask anything, anytime you need any help. That makes a lot of difference, because it's not only the sale. Everyone does a good service, but I think after sales service, it's very important. And you need an answer when you need it, right? And it should be always fast. So that's a very important point.
And international is always confusing. There's always questions. And I think I learn stuff every day from this international stuff.
Yes.
I do not know everything. I will say I don't know anything. I will find the answer out. But it is certainly an ever-learning job that we have here, working international.
I mean, look, compliance, after-sales service, and logistics service, it's really important, because in your case, where is my stuff now? I can't see it, or is there something going on? So you need really a good solution for support, and that's very important. It's not only the prices, okay? I always tell that to every seller. Please consider a good service, because at the end of the day, you might, pay less, but then you have a lot of headache, because you need an answer when you need it, okay? When it's rushing, that's when you need me. It's not when everything goes well. So.
Yeah, and your customers will be dissatisfied, especially on the logistics side, if you go inexpensive with a courier or company that can't perform. And at least with SkyPostal, all of our partners that are connected to our API. So every package gets one SkyPostal tracking number, and they can see it from receipt in Miami to last mile delivered. So they see the entire process. If it's in Miami, if it's on a plane, if it's at customs, if it's getting ready to get on a truck to be delivered to the last mile, if it was attempted to delivery, and if it was delivered. So it's nice to have that everybody's connected to. All of our partners are connected to us, so we can give our customers one easy experience. They don't have to bounce around to see where it could be at based on anything.
True. Yeah, that's very important. I mean, yeah, so the decision is on the sellers, but please consider. And if you need any help on checking out your category and you need any data, we can help you and connect you with Amazon account managers as well. We have, but we can ask them to provide any data for you to help you expand into Mexico or any other country. So just reach out to us. I think you're even if you don't consider it now, you can ask us any question and get in touch. We're happy to help.
It's good to have it for the future, especially if you're thinking about it for 2026. We are right around the corner from 2026.
I know. And here's the thing. Now, since the holiday season is coming up, right? People are like focused on their sales. And then they're like, I can just get registered or expand next year. Please, just from compliance point, it takes time, okay, to get registered. So if you have a plan to do it next year in June, you have to get in touch with me now to get RFC registered. So it takes time. So if you plan for the next year, you have to start now. Yeah, it's very important. So I think that's all from my side. I don't know if there is any other question. I don't know. I didn't check it. Let me see if you need any. No other questions. Yeah. I think we explained it good, Christie.
Yeah. Any questions, please reach out to either one of us, and we'll make sure you get answers.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
You too, Christie. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.